My name is Jose Martino Galvez Calora. They call me Jojo. I was born in Ithaca, New York in January 10th, 1962. My disability includes bilateral phocomelia. I have short arms, no elbows, and then three digits in each hand. And also, I have severe scoliosis that required surgery to do some correction, which they tried to correct as much as they can do, but I still have like a severe S curve in my spine with some instrumentation or rods inserted in my spine.
My name is Carolyn Jean Grover. I was born in 1962 in Cincinnati, Ohio. I was born with all four limbs affected by thalidomide. My arms, I am missing the long bones in my arms. This is called bilateral phocomelia. I have 2 digits on each hand. For my legs, I have what's called bilateral proximal femoral focal deficiency, which is missing most of the femur in both legs. I wear bilateral prostheses for mobility, and I use a mobility scooter.
My name is Peggy Smith. I was born May 1st, 1962, and I was born at a hospital in northern Kentucky. I have 2 fingers on the left hand, a thumb on the right hand. I'm missing lots of parts of my body, the bones and stuff. I wear 2 artificial legs. My feet was clubbed. When I was 7, they amputated my feet. They took my toes on both legs. My mom told me that my fingers on my left hand was together and they split them and skin graft them to split them apart.
I'm Billy Pickens, and I was born in 1961 in Birmingham, Alabama. I was told that my whole face was open. From my nose all the way down, it was just open. You can just see up in the top of my bone of my nose, and the nose was laying to the side, and the lip was split open, and which caused them to have to close all this and break my nose and reconstruct my nose, and the ears, the constant pain I have in my eyes. There always seemed to be pressure there, and the headaches. And I just know that no one should go through what I went through. With all the surgeries I've had, it's had to be, I can only remember maybe 15 surgeries. I don't know how many I had before I went to kindergarten. I was basically put back together as if a bomb had blew up in my face.
My name is Gwen Rickman. I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio at Jewish Hospital, May 1962. The outward physical disabilities that I have due to thalidomide are phocomelia of both arms. I am missing the thumb. The index finger on each hand is small, curved under, and other than a little bit of movement, unusable. Both feet were also affected. I had club feet on both of my feet. My left knee does not straighten out fully. It never has. It never will. Those are the outward ones. As I age, we're also finding other things that are a result of the thalidomide, such as the high arch and palate that I had in my mouth, thus causing sleep apnea.
My name is Lori Kay. I was born in 1962, and I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. When I was born with, of course, my arms are disabled. I don't know the technical terms. My left leg was disabled. It was shorter and turned in, and my parents had decided to amputate my left leg. So when I was a baby, so I've had a prosthetic since probably 2 years old. for the outside of my disability. And then the inside, I was in a body cast when I was a baby. I have a left hip that has been deformed. It's not in socket. And so they put me in a body cast when I was young to try to get my left hip in socket, which never worked. And the doctors told my parents that as I get older, that will be a constant pain. My right hip is also affected, but it's in socket. It's just smaller. The mom said that my right hip, the tip of my right hip bone is pointy. It's not like rounded like it should be. And I did have sexual surgery to try to help out so I could enjoy sex. But unfortunately, it was very, very painful, and it didn't help. And I can't have babies because of it. So we adopted a son that we love and adore. And I'm also hard of hearing. It has affected my hearing. I'm deaf. I have a hearing aid in, and my doctors told me eventually I will be completely deaf.
I'm Jan Garrett. I was born in 1962 in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I was born missing all 4 limbs. I'm missing my arms at the shoulder, and both of my legs are very short. I have 2 very short femurs. The right side is even shorter than the left.
Growing up, because I had short arms and only 3 digits in each hand, I had to adapt. And basically, the adaptation is to, I guess, contort or use my neck a lot so that I could reach, easily. And I think through the years, with the adaptation and using my neck a lot, it must have, overused my neck. That's why I guess my neck discs are basically diseased now. They have degenerated to such a point that it requires surgery to relieve the pain and the weakness in my arms. My fears for the future is that I won't be able to afford to retire or to pay for the medical, needs that I would require as I age, as I get older. Thalidomide, caused congenital deformities when I was born. But in my late age, I'm discovering that there are consequences that I only experience as I age. And I was not aware of it, and I did not prepare for it. Now I'm looking at neck surgery, lower back surgery. I don't know what else I have to look forward as I age, and I might not be able to afford taking care of myself.
So my very real fear is something a doctor mentioned to me recently, which was if I were to break my hip in the future, for most people that's a simple hip replacement surgery and recovery period. But when you are born with deformed hip sockets and deformed femurs, a simple hip replacement is not an option. So the solution to a broken hip for me would be through the hip amputation. And that means, serious recovery time, possibly not recovering fully, and a real possibility that I could be institutionalized in a situation like that. I would not be able to afford not to be institutionalized.
Well, my greatest fear is, will I be able to do things on my own without any help? There's a lot of things that I can't do, and I need help, and there's, it would cost a lot of money for me to have somebody to do things for me.
I'm 61 now, and I want to retire, but I cannot retire at this moment due to financial struggles and for all the surgeries I need to try to have. I'm just scared that with the future being unknown, I won't have anybody there to help me. I'm single, live alone with my daughter who has autism, and I don't know what that's going to bring for me.
My greatest difficulty as an adult is taking care of myself. I don't qualify for any type of assistance that would pay for a personal care assistant to come into my home, help me with getting dressed, getting bathed, help with the housekeeping, help with just anything that I need, getting me to and from doctor's appointments. I don't qualify for anything, and my insurance doesn't pay for anything, and I also don't make enough to privately pay. The home that I live in is an 80-year-old home, all original plumbing. There is currently standing sewage in the basement, and also as a result of the moisture, because there's also some cracks in the foundation where the water comes in if we get heavy enough rain. There's now mold down in the basement. I hope that I can stay in my home. I want to die in my home. Even with the mold and sewage issue, I want to die in my home when I'm an old ripe age of 100. But looking at how my body is breaking down quicker and quicker over the years, with not just simple aging things, but aging on top of the thalidomide disabilities, I don't know if that's going to be possible. And I don't have children. I don't have a spouse. I don't have any family that lives locally that would be able to take care of me on a regular basis.
We deserve additional financial help, and it would help with not being able to say, okay, I'm going to be in a nursing home. I wouldn't have to worry about that. I would have somebody, the financial ability to be able to have somebody maybe come in and help me in the bathroom, or help me get a bath, or help me make dinner, or help me do whatever I need, wipe my butt, just something that people take for granted, comb my hair, or whatever's gonna, because my arms are getting weak, and, the body is just tearing down. My body, I'm 60, but my body's probably like a 70, 80-year-old sometimes.
As I have aged, obviously my body is not the same as other people's bodies, so I've used my neck a lot more. I've had scoliosis surgery when I was 15 on my back, so I have rods fused to my spine. The part of the spine above the rods is actually starting to curve forward now, and I have deteriorating discs in my neck from overuse. It's really causing me quite a lot of pain and discomfort that is very hard to determine a cure for. And it's very hard to continue working and even to sleep and do all sorts of normal things during the day. And I've always been a very active person, but it's getting harder to be active. It's getting harder to work, harder to do all the normal things. I have decreased range of motion in terms of putting my chin to my shoulder. And anytime I move my neck and head, all I hear is crunching. From a health perspective, one of the things about having a significant disability is when I was 17, I went on birth control pills year round and didn't have a period, really, because it was so difficult to manage with my disability. Later, I would develop breast cancer. I don't know if that was linked to being on the birth control pill 24/7, 365 for a number of years, or if it wasn't linked to that. But I did ultimately get breast cancer, have surgery, and have chemotherapy. Based on the pain levels that I have, I would retire now if I could. But the reality of my financial situation is that I may need care, my husband may need care, and we need to have our retirement built up. And I don't really think I can retire until I'm 70 for financial purposes. So before I would go into an institution, I would take my own life. Because I'm not going to live in an institution.